With Joly and LeBlanc heading down to Florida, we have the money for border security, or added money for border security. Are they bringing enough to the table for the Americans, do you think?
That's what we're going to find out. I mean, apparently we have been in talks with Trump's team as the plan was put together for enhanced border security. And so we shouldn't, hopefully be far off what they're expecting because we've been having these conversations. And so we'll see what transpires. Perhaps we'll get some information after the meeting takes place, maybe a little bit more. I don't know if there's going to be a readout or what. There wasn't when when Trump met Trudeau down in Mar-a-Lago, but we'll see what happens this time. I think, the goal is going to be that these measures that we're taking are going to be enough to fend off the possibility of these tariffs. And so the relationships that I think are very important. That's why we're seeing Minister LeBlanc, even though he's not in the public safety portfolio anymore, he's been moved to finance, obviously, but he's still taking the lead on this conversation. And I think it's again, because these relationships have built up and we want to keep consistency with that as talks move forward toward the inauguration.
And how important are these meetings that they be in person?
Oh, I think extremely important. I think Trump is somebody who they want to have a face-to-face conversation with. This is very much about building relationships. Obviously, the president-elect is a very unusual politician. He communicates in very unusual ways. I think it's to be able to meet him face-to-face, to build some kind of rapport, to build whatever trust we can, and also to have the possibility of some more spontaneous conversations with members of his team, because clearly that's what this is about, getting into the substance of what we're going to be doing at the border and how the relationship between the countries will continue. That's not just happening between Trudeau and Trump. Clearly this time it's happening between the teams around them. And so those conversations, I think that relationship building, the shaking of hands, having conversations on the sidelines, those sorts of things are very difficult to do in any way other than face-to-face.
And what would be a victory? Do you think we can have something before his inauguration that would be a victory for Trump and a victory for Canada on this?
I mean, I think for us, the victory is to avoid these tariffs and to see if what can happen now. Again, even Trump isn't even president yet, and all of this is going on. And so, I mean, I think for Canada, if we can get some assurance that this is enough, and who knows if that will happen or not. Trump has also talked about tariffs as being a revenue stream, as being, a great idea. I think he calls tariffs beautiful, and he thinks that there's this trade imbalance between Canada and the U.S., and he'll be able to help America's economy and balance things out by putting this tariff in place to kind of make things right in his mind. And so he may want to do that regardless of what we do at the border. It could be that the border measures don't help the tariff conversation at all. But I think for Canada, a win would be that happens. Even if the U.S. takes all the credit for it, even if Donald Trump says, look what I made them do, and this is going to make him very happy and let him puff himself up as some big, powerful person who is able to tell other countries what to do. I think we don't care about that. He can tell whatever story he wants. If we're able to avoid what is going to be completely disastrous for our economy, then I think that's an obvious win for us.
Okay, and just one last question. We're almost out of time, but I want to ask about all the jabs that he's been taking at Canada as being the 51st state and things like that. Who is that playing to? Is that just playing to him? Is it playing to his base? Is it meant to kind of get us in a little bit of a tizzy before the negotiations?
Oh, for sure. I think that's the way he is. He wants to create chaos. He wants to make people panic. He wants to see the response. Who is the audience? I think largely himself and the people around him. I think this is for his amusement. And it probably makes him happy to see us talk about it, to see politicians respond to it, to the extent that he pays attention to Canadian media, I think he does. I think it makes him happy to see that he has this effect on people. That is part of what he's trying to do. But I mean, I think I agree with Minister LeBlanc on this one. No need to respond to this, right? Like, we don't need to worry about what he puts on social media. We need to worry about what he does.
Okay, Lori, thank you as always for your insight.
Thank you too. Take care.
Lori Turnbull is our political analyst.